Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're learning English or just love a good adventure story from everyday life, hit that like button and subscribe, because today I'm sharing the best weekend trip, a true story. Well, mostly true, with a dash of drama for you guys, that happened to me last summer. Picture this, a stressed out city dweller like me, buried in work emails and traffic jams, suddenly deciding to escape for the weekend. It was chaotic, hilarious, and full of those I can't believe that happened moments. We'll dive into packing disasters, train mishaps, breathtaking views, and yes, even a little romance. By the end, you'll feel like you were right there with me, and you'll pick up tons of useful English along the way, especially past tense verbs like went, saw, and traveled. Let's jump in. This story is packed with real-life vibes, so grab your popcorn. It all started on a Friday afternoon in my tiny apartment in the bustling city. I had been feeling exhausted from my daily routine. You know, the kind where you wake up, rush to work, stare at a computer screen all day, and come home too tired to do anything fun. I worked as a graphic designer, and my boss had just dumped a huge project on me with a deadline that felt impossible. I need a break, I thought to myself. That's when the idea hit me. A weekend getaway to the mountains. I'd always dreamed of visiting this quaint little town called Evergreen Valley, famous for its stunning hikes, cozy cabins, and crystal-clear lakes. It was only a few hours away by train, but it felt like a world apart from the concrete jungle I called home. I decided right then and there to make it happen. First things first, I needed to make a reservation. I grabbed my phone and searched for hotels in Evergreen Valley. After scrolling through reviews, some raved about the breathtaking scenery, while others complained about spotty Wi-Fi. I found a cute bed and breakfast called the Pine Retreat. It had great ratings and even offered free breakfast. Perfect, I said aloud. I quickly filled out the online form, entered my credit card details, and hit Book Now. A confirmation email popped up. Your reservation for 2 nights is confirmed. We look forward to welcoming you. Excitement bubbled up inside me. This was really happening. But wait, I hadn't even packed yet. Scene 1 of my adventure, the packing frenzy. I pulled out my old luggage from under the bed. It was a battered blue suitcase I'd bought years ago for a family trip. Dust flew everywhere as I unzipped it. What do I need? I muttered, tossing in clothes haphazardly. Jeans, t-shirts, a warm sweater because mountains can get chilly, hiking boots, and of course my favorite camera for taking photos. I remembered to pack toiletries, toothbrush, shampoo, and sunscreen. Then came the snacks, granola bars, chips, and a water bottle. I didn't want to be starving on the journey. As I packed, my mind raced with memories of past trips. Last year, I went on a beach vacation with friends, but it rained the whole time. We saw nothing but gray skies and ended up playing cards in the hotel room. This time, I wanted everything to be perfect. I double-checked my list. Passport, just in case, charger, headphones, and a book to read. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was my best friend, Sarah. "Hey, what are you up to this weekend?" she texted. I replied, "Spontaneous trip to Evergreen Valley, leaving tonight." She sent back a string of excited emojis. "Jealous, take lots of pics and buy me a souvenir." Time was ticking. The train station was a 20-minute cab ride away, and my train departed at 7 p.m. I glanced at the clock. 6:55 p.m. Panic set in. I zipped up the luggage, which was now bulging at the seams, and dragged it to the door. Keys, wallet, phone, check. I called a cab through an app and waited impatiently by the window. The cab arrived 5 minutes late, and I rushed downstairs, hauling my heavy luggage behind me. "To the central station, please, and step on it," I told the driver. He chuckled and said, "Weekend getaway, huh? Everyone's escaping the city these days." We weaved through traffic, horns blaring around us. My heart pounded as we hit every red light. "Come on," I whispered. Finally, we pulled up to the station at 6:50 p.m. I paid the driver, grabbed my luggage, and sprinted inside. The station was a madhouse, people everywhere, announcements echoing over the speakers. Train to Evergreen Valley departing from platform 5 in 10 minutes. I need a ticket. I had forgotten to buy one online. Rushing to the counter, I panted, "One ticket to Evergreen Valley, please. Round trip." The clerk typed away and handed me the ticket. "That'll be $45. Have a safe trip." With ticket in hand, I dashed to platform 5, luggage wheels clattering on the tiled floor. I boarded just as the doors were closing. Phew, I sighed, collapsing into a window seat. The train lurched forward and I watched the city lights fade away. That was close, but the adventure had officially begun. Scene 2, the journey itself. As the train picked up speed, I settled in and looked out the window. The urban sprawl gave way to rolling hills and fields. The scenery was mesmerizing. Golden wheat swaying in the breeze, distant mountains silhouetted against the sunset. I pulled out my phone and snapped a quick photo, captioning it, "Bye-bye city stress," for my social media. The past tense kicked in as I reflected. I left behind my worries and embraced the unknown. About an hour in, my stomach growled. I remembered I had packed snacks, but the train had a dining car. Curious, I wandered down the aisle, luggage safely stowed. The dining car was cozy with booths and a menu of sandwiches and drinks. I bought a coffee and a turkey wrap. "That'll be $8, the attendant said. Back in my seat, I munched while chatting with the passenger next to me, an older gentleman named Mr. Thompson. "Where are you headed?" he asked. "Evergreen Valley for a weekend getaway," I replied. He smiled. "I traveled there often in my youth. The hikes are unbeatable. Last time I went, I saw deer right by the trail." We shared stories. He told me about a time he missed his train and ended up hitchhiking. I arrived late, but it was the best detour ever. I laughed and shared my packing rush. The conversation made the journey fly by. Outside, the scenery shifted to denser forests, stars twinkling above. I felt a sense of freedom I hadn't experienced in months. As the train chugged along, I dozed off, dreaming of the adventures ahead. 3 hours later, the announcement woke me. Next stop, Evergreen Valley. I gathered my things and stepped off into the cool night air. The station was small and charming, with wooden benches and flower pots. A short walk led me to the Pine Retreat. I checked in at the front desk. "Welcome, your reservation is all set," the receptionist said, handing me a key. My room was adorable. A queen bed with fluffy pillows, a balcony overlooking the woods, and a mini fridge. I unpacked my luggage, hung up my clothes, and crashed onto the bed. What a day! I traveled far, but it was worth it. The next morning, scene 3 unfolded, arriving at sightseeing spots and taking photos galore. I woke up to birds chirping and sunlight streaming in. After a quick shower, I headed downstairs for breakfast, fresh pancakes, eggs, and fruit. "This is heaven," I said to myself. Energized, I set out for the day. First stop, the famous Evergreen Lake. I rented a bike from the hotel, no reservation needed, and pedaled along a scenic path. The scenery was postcard perfect. Sparkling water, pine trees towering overhead, and wildflowers dotting the grass. I stopped at a viewpoint and pulled out my camera. Click, click. I took photos of the lake reflecting the mountains. I saw the most beautiful view, I'd later tell friends. Wandering further, I found a hiking trail. It was moderate, winding up to a waterfall. Along the way, I spotted squirrels scampering and birds soaring. At the top, the waterfall cascaded down rocks, mist spraying my face. I sat on a boulder, ate a granola bar from my pack, and just breathed it in. This was why I came, to escape and recharge. Back in town, I explored the local market. Stalls sold handmade crafts, fresh produce, and souvenirs. I bought a keychain shaped like a pine tree for Sarah. A little souvenir from my trip, I'd say when I gave it to her. I also picked up some local honey and a postcard to mail home. Chatting with vendors, I practiced my English. "How much for this? Where is this made?" They were friendly, sharing stories of their own travels. Lunch was at a quaint cafe overlooking the valley. I ordered a salad and soup, savoring the flavors. As I ate, a group of tourists nearby discussed their plans. One girl, about my age, smiled and said, "First time here?" We struck up a conversation. Her name was Mia, and she was on a solo trip too. "I traveled from the coast," she said. "I went hiking this morning and saw the waterfall. Amazing, right?" We exchanged tips and even swapped photos. It felt like making a new friend in an instant. The afternoon brought more adventures. I visited a historic museum in Kaun, learning about the area's mining past. Artifacts from the 1800s, old tools, photos of settlers who traveled west. They endured so much, I thought. Then back to the hotel for a nap before dinner. That evening, I dined at a restaurant recommended by the receptionist. Grilled trout with veggies. Delicious. As the sun set, painting the sky in oranges and pinks, I took more photos from my balcony. But no trip is without hiccups. On Sunday morning, as I prepared to leave, I realized I'd lost my train ticket. Panic. I searched my luggage, the room, nothing. I bought it at the station, I remembered. Rushing to the front desk, I explained. The receptionist called the train company. "No worries, we can issue a duplicate with your reservation number." Relieved, I checked out, thanked them, and headed back to the station. The return journey was reflective. Looking out the window again, I watched the scenery reverse. Mountains fading to fields, then city lights. I traveled back, but I felt changed. The weekend taught me to embrace spontaneity. I arrived home late Sunday, unpacked my luggage, and uploaded photos online. Friends commented, "Looks epic." Sarah loved her souvenir. Looking back, that weekend getaway was the best decision ever. I went from stressed to refreshed, saw incredible sights, and traveled to a place that felt like magic. If you're feeling stuck in daily life, plan your own trip. Make a reservation, pack your luggage, buy a ticket, and go. Who knows what adventures await? Thanks for reading or listening if this goes viral on YouTube. Drop your own travel stories in the comments. See you next time! Let's rewind a bit and flesh out my life before the trip. My name's Alex, and I'm 28, living in a high-rise in downtown Metropolis. My daily grind: wake up at 6 a.m., coffee in hand, commute on a crowded subway where people avoid eye contact. At the office, I designed logos and ads, but lately, creativity felt drained. My boss, Mr. Harlan, was a taskmaster. "Alex, I need those revisions by Monday," he barked in our last meeting. I nodded, but inside, I screamed for escape. That Friday, after work, I stopped at my favorite coffee shop. The barista, Jenny, knew my order. "Large latte, extra shot?" "Yes, and make it to go. Big plans tonight." She raised an eyebrow. "Oh, spill." I told her about the impromptu trip. "Sounds fun. I went to Evergreen last year. The scenery is unreal." Her words sealed it. Home, I called my mom. "Honey, a weekend trip? Alone?" she worried. "I'll be fine, Mom. I need this." She sighed. "Okay, but text me when you arrive. Love you." Packing took longer than expected. I tried on outfits, too casual, too formal, before settling. I even packed a journal to write about the experience, thinking it could inspire my designs. The cab ride was tense.